Hi.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What makes you say okay?
Well, you heard on the phone call, my family's worried, I guess, and I don't like to make them worried about me.
Yeah. And why do you think that they're worried?
They think I have a drinking problem, but I disagree with them. And I mean, I know my limits, and I know that when I drink, yeah, I like to have fun, but it's never out of my control.
Okay. And what do you feel like out of your control would look like?
I mean, if you were to ask me if I wanted to drink right now, I'd be able to say no. And I feel like if it wasn't out of my control, if it was out of my control, I would be able to. I wouldn't be able to stop, But I'm in control, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what kind of alcohol do you feel like you usually consume, like on a regular day?
Well, my favorite's wine. Monday through Friday, I'll have 3 or 4 glasses a night, which is normal. I mean, a lot of people I know have that.
Yeah.
But on the weekends, I like to have fun, so I'll drink a bottle or 2 a day on the weekend. But that's just to have fun, and I like to get a little tipsy and enjoy myself and let loose. But I'm in control. I never drink more than what I can handle.
Yeah. And when you say, just for clarification, when you say like a glass, how big do you think a glass is?
Red Solo cups.
Yeah.
I usually top it off.
Okay. So like all the way to the top of like a solo cup?
Yeah, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember in health class, one of my friends said that was a cup. It's a standard cup size.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you said that it's usually wine. Do you feel like it's ever anything else?
No, I'll have beer every once in a while. I don't like liquor. I stay away from it. Maybe a little bit of Patron, but mostly wine.
Okay. Yeah, and usually when you go out, you said you like to let loose. You're hanging with your friends on the weekend.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Right. When you do that, do you feel like it's usually just alcohol with your friends, or do people sometimes bring other substances, maybe like weed or other drugs that sometimes you might find yourself being involved in as well?
I smoke a little bit of weed, but not very often. Maybe once or twice a week. And that's just really to help me calm down. My mind's always running and stuff, and it's hard for me to sleep some nights, and just work is busy, and so I just have it really to help calm me down. But but not. That's definitely not. It's not a problem. It's recreational.
And it sounds like from what you're saying that you've been really productive at your work, and you have a great job, and it sounds like you have a great time with your friends as well. Do you feel like most of your friends enjoy going out and kind of letting loose in the same ways that you do?
Yeah, the guys at work, we always go out. They love going to the bar. We haven't smoked weed yet, but we've gone out a couple times, and I never bring wine or anything to the office. I've come in a little bit tipsy maybe once to work, and that's it. But it's never a problem. They like it. They think it's fun. I think it's fun. We just kind of kick back.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
So when you say tipsy, that you've never gone in tipsy to work, I know that kind of looks different for everybody. What do you think that you going into work having had alcohol that morning, what does that look like for you? What would it look like if you were, if it was too much to go to work?
I've never done anything stupid at work. I've never been crazy. I remember old high school parties. That was crazy. But work, I could never imagine myself coming in too tipsy or anything. I mean, the one time I really remember is I was up most of the night with my friends, and wasn't with my coworkers, but just we had a good time, and so I didn't go to bed that night. And maybe I had my last drink maybe around 5:30, and I took an Uber into work. Not a big deal. I know not to drive, so and yeah, I was a little bit wobbly. I'd walked a little funny, and some of the guys picked up on it, and they noticed I was wearing the same clothes from yesterday, and so but I got everything done that day. It wasn't a big deal. So.
And when you say people notice, do you feel like anybody said anything, or anybody kind of had commentary, or do you feel like you just thought they noticed?
No, they said something. One of my coworkers said something. Fortunately, my boss didn't see it, but my boss he's a stickler, so we try to not. He's older. We don't really hang out with him outside of work, but yeah, they were fine. They just laughed it off and just got a kick out of it. So yeah.
And do you usually go out with your buddies from work, or?
Sometimes it depends on who's there. If Jake's there, I'll go with him. But if sometimes Chad's always up to go to a bar with me. But yeah, sometimes. Mostly, I still hang out with my friends from college and some from high school, but not a ton. Or they're busy, they have family stuff, I guess, and so.
And you feel like they can keep up? You feel like you guys kind of all are at the same speed whenever you go out, and they're always down to do whatever you want to do for the most part?
Well, some of my college friends, they do way more than me, but yeah, everyone kind of stays. We ride together. We're in the same place. We sometimes my glass it's a little bigger than theirs. I can take down a little more than they can sometimes, but it's that's years of practice.
Yeah. And do you think that you would ever kind of drink by yourself, or you feel like you really like drinking with kind of socially, like with your friends, with your coworkers?
I mean, I drink by myself during the week when my buddies can't go out, but again, it's not that much. It's 3, maybe 4 glasses.
And those, when we're talking about glasses, we're still talking about kind of like basically a solo cup full, right?
Yeah, my friends and I, we had a party one night, and we got a little crazy and knocked over the wine glasses, so all I've replaced them with his red solo cup. So.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. They work better. They don't break. So.
Yeah, I mean that's very true. Yeah, plastic might be more durable.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
And you mentioned just a little bit earlier, it sounds like you have a big system of friends, and whether that's at work or you said from college, you still talk to people from college, which is amazing. I did not keep up as well as you, I don't think, with all of my friends. But you also mentioned high school. And you said parties were really crazy in high school, right?
Yeah.
And do you think that that's kind of where you first drank, was in high school?
Yeah, I didn't have my first drink till I was a sophomore in high school. Just my parents were always strict about alcohol and wanted me to be religious and stuff, and so I stayed away from it up until then, and then, let myself have a good time, and, they didn't catch me drinking until I was almost 19, and so I got away with it for a few years. I was pretty good at hiding it, and they were worried, but it's not a problem. It's never been a problem. So.
Yeah, and you mentioned, your family and some of your friends being worried when you came in today. And do you feel like it's been the same level of worry that you felt in high school? You think that they've just kind of stayed worried just because it's not their lifestyle?
Yeah, it's hard to say because my parents are still really religious, and so they get on me about this. But my dad was helping me with my finances, and I needed help with one bill, and so he looked at my bank statement, and we went through together. And I'm not that old. I'm 25, and I get help from him every once in a while. But we were going through, and he saw all the wine purchases, and he got worried. And I told him it's not a big deal. It's just what I do. It helps me to just relax at night and have a good time on the weekend. And so they've been on me, and apparently they heard something from one of my friend's parents that I did some crazy thing or something, which I don't even remember doing. But they just worry. They just worry a lot, and it's not. Yeah. There's nothing to worry about, and I've told them that a lot.
Yeah. And I appreciate you sharing that with me.
Yeah.
I know sometimes we all have family things, and especially with finances, sometimes that can be really scary to share. So I appreciate that. But just, so I can better understand, what do you feel like if you feel comfortable saying, what do you feel like you spend on your average month? If you're budgeting, how much do you feel like you budget? What percentage goes towards wine or towards alcohol?
Well, I drink the cheap stuff, $3 chuck from Trader Joe's, and so that's I go through maybe I didn't really think about it. I'd go through maybe a bottle a day at the most, and a couple bottles on the weekend, and so it's just my dad picked it up. I don't know. I mean, I don't keep track of that, so maybe a couple $100, but that's not that big a deal. It's like people spend a couple $100 on childcare. It's like I can spend a bit on wine if I want to.
So you didn't feel surprised. You felt like he was surprised, but you weren't really surprised.
I just, it's like I felt like it wasn't his place to judge me. Like, so what? I drink a little bit. Like, I'm my own adult. I can do whatever I want to. I'm not a baby anymore. It's like, and sometimes they think I'm just their baby, and they're just trying to look out for me. But it's like I agreed to come, and I'm sorry to say this. It's just I agreed to come because it would help calm my parents down, and I just to calm them down and say, I don't have a problem. I just like to drink a little bit. That's all.
Yeah. And I appreciate you being honest. I mean, any number of things could bring you in to talk to me, and that it doesn't. I'm open to whatever brought you in here. I'm just happy to be able to learn a little bit more about you. And I was thinking too, as you were talking, you said that lots of times the wine, it helps you relax, and it helps you kind of cool down and forget about all the work stress. And you mentioned a little bit about marijuana. Do you think that does the same thing for you?
Yeah, it helps me just to it's different, it's quicker sometimes, it's just when I just want to change it up a little bit. Sometimes I get so used to the taste of wine that I just I like to try other things, and just I've always been adventurous, and so that's more does the same thing, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you have used weed, do you feel like you usually smoke it or cook it or?
I like smoking it, but when some of my friends have edibles, I'll use those too. I mean, I'm not afraid of taking it. However, it's just.
Yeah. And I know you said you do weed sometimes. You're mostly a wine drinker. Have you ever felt yourself, at some of those high school parties you said were so exciting, or maybe in college, or even with some work friends now? Do you feel like you've ever kind of adventured with other substances at all?
No, it's just been wine and weed. But wine's not even bad for you. I mean, don't doctors say it's good for you to have wine every? I mean, like something like every day is good for you. That's what I heard. So it's not a big deal, you know. It's like I barely even consider it a substance. It's like, okay, there's alcohol in it, but it's not. Again, it's like good for you. So
Yeah. And do you feel like when you drink wine, I know you mentioned kind of just on some weeknights to unwind. Do you feel like every night usually you have at least a glass of wine?
yeah, just about every night.
Do you think it's usually a glass?
No, I mean, glass is fine. It's just
Yeah.
like I can, for my size and for who I am, 3, 4, like I said,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And after you have, say 3 or 4 of those glasses, how do you feel?
I get tired. My brain just shuts down. It's relaxing. So I feel good. Sometimes, I don't really get hangovers anymore. I mean, I used to back in high school maybe, but not unless I'm going hard on the weekend. So it just helps relax me.
Yeah. And do you feel like you usually drink at night?
Yeah, usually after work. Like I said, I only came into work, I would say tipsy. I wasn't even drunk. It was like I was tipsy that one time, but that's why I don't have a problem, because I know I can wait till I'm done with work, and then I know I'll drink then. An alcoholic couldn't say no during the day at work.
Yeah. And I know you voiced that it kind of stresses you out how much it seems like your family is worried and wanted you to come here today. Do you feel like they're the only ones that have mentioned anything to you about alcohol in your life?
I mean, I had a girlfriend. Now, we broke up 4 months ago, 5 months ago. I mean, she always found something to complain about. So it was none of my buddies trusted her anyway. So she said, instead of dealing with stuff, we'll drink at night. But that's not accurate. I mean, sometimes I'll go to the gym. Sometimes I have friends. They help me and stuff, and she thought it was, just something that was kind of, I drank a little bit too much, but not a big deal. She was a little worried, but again, she's just paranoid, so it wasn't a big deal. But
Yeah.
we broke up anyway because, like I said, she was kind of crazy. So
Yeah. And she didn't usually drink with you ever, or?
I mean, she would drink, but she was smaller than me. She couldn't drink as much. She, at first she was impressed, kind of, and I was like, it's not that much. It's just like a couple glasses of wine, and.
But she thought it was like really impressive just because she felt like you could drink so much more.
Well, she's a lightweight, so she could drink a glass and she'd get a little tipsy. So she'd make comments every once in a while, but again, it wasn't. No one really liked her, no one really trusted her, and so.
Yeah. And if I asked her, why do you feel like she would say that you all ended things?
Because we had different visions. Like, she wanted to settle down and have a family and take the next step, and I'm just like, I'm 25, I don't want that yet. At least let's wait till I'm in my 30s,
Yeah.
I want to live, I'm young, I want to do fun things and go out with my friends and stuff. I don't want to settle down yet,
Yeah.
And so she kind of gave me an ultimatum and was like, hey, if you don't want to move forward, then if you don't want to take your life, seriously, in her terms, which is like, I take it plenty seriously. I work,
Yeah.
I'd take care of myself, and then she wanted to end things if I wasn't willing to do it her way. So I said no. I'm just gonna have fun. So
Yeah.
I mean, she'd say for whatever reason, but that's the real reason. So I don't know.
Yeah. And I'm sorry that happened. And I appreciate you telling me that and being honest about something that was probably kind of difficult for you.